Well, Wits University says it's disappointed that Vice-Chancellor Professor Adam Habib was asked to leave the peace meeting even after he had been invited to attend. The university says it's still committed to completing the 2016 academic year. Well, for the latest on this development, let's speak to Shirona Patel, who speaks on behalf of Wits University. Shirona, good morning. Yeah, I've seen the statement that you issued yesterday after 5 o'clock, after Professor Habib had been asked to leave the church meeting, and then the students went to Solomon Mahlangu House at Wits University. Firstly, who had invited Professor Habib?
Good morning, Dan. Yes, so Professor Habib and the entire senior executive team was invited by the organizers of the Peace Accord meeting, which was the academic staff union of Wits University, together with church leaders and others. So they extended the invitation to Professor Habib, and they asked him merely to attend the meeting, to listen, and by their presence there to indicate that they are willing to negotiate and to enter into some sort of a mediation process or a peaceful engagement to find a way through this current impasse. So I think it was in their presence there was an indication that we are really committed to engaging with students. We believe that the only way out of this, like Julie Madonsela has said, is that there has to be a negotiated or peaceful settlement to bring an end to this. The violence, the crime, the police, etc., are not the solutions to this problem.
Well, I mean, to be fair to the university, from what I recall, you've always said you are willing to engage with the students, you are hoping for dialogue, but they don't want to talk to Professor Habib. What do you do about that?
Well, then, Professor Habib has said that he understands that students are very passionate about this. He understood yesterday that many people were quite angry, particularly because of Mr. Dlamini's arrest, not being granted bail early in the day. And so he says that passions were inflamed yesterday. But he says despite all of that, he himself is open and committed to engagement with students and with student leaders. We have met with students and student leaders in private. We have met with them in public. We've met with them through mediators or via mediators. And we will continue to do so. But then you raised an important point, and I think Truly did as well. It's that, Wits management and Wits students are 90% on the same page. We believe in access to quality, free higher education that's decolonized. I mean, the university changed its stance in 48 hours last week and agreed to support students in their quest to get access to free education. Now, I think the two things on which we differ is that students are demanding it now, and secondly, as Ms. Madonsela said, it's the tactics that are used. So we wouldn't, we wouldn't commit to violence or threats or put anyone's lives at risk. And I think if we can overcome those two things, then we are well on our way to raising this issue at a national level with the right stakeholders and taking it to the next level. So we really believe we need to get over those 2 points, the timing issue and the tactics used.
Now, in terms of the students' demands around fees must fall, I think nationally everybody agrees there has to be a solution has to be found. But there seems to be some local issues as well at many campuses at Wits University. As is the management aware of what particular specific issues are playing themselves out that might affect the dialogue between yourselves as management and the students?
We've asked for a list of demands, Dan, and the demands change every 2 weeks. The current demand is that all universities, including Wits University, remain shut until students get free education from the government. So, I mean, that's not something that we at Wits University or any other university can accede to now. We don't have the capacity to give people free education now. But it is something that we can work together towards by taking it to the right people, taking it to the right state, taking it to the private sector, getting the right people around the table to resolve this issue. Certainly the higher education sector has been underfunded critically for the last 2 decades. That's quite obvious. The question is, how do we move from where we are now to something that's more meaningful for the sector and which satisfies the students' demands for access to free quality, decolonized higher education? And I believe that we can do it together. As for the internal demands, we welcome to discussing and negotiating those with students. Nothing has been presented to us to date.
Okay, finally, how's Professor Habib really personally handling this? Because he seems to be the target. I know that the executive management of Wits was invited to the meeting in Braamfontein yesterday, but students put the spotlight on Professor Habib. Is he taking all of this personally?
No, so I think what he said, I think he understands where the students are coming from. And he said in his statement yesterday that it's not something he should take personally. However, he was disappointed yesterday. And he does feel, that he was invited and then they didn't want him there. I think it was also after many weeks of students saying that Wits University wasn't engaging directly with students or with students in a mass gathering. This was the perfect opportunity for that to happen. And I think he was quite disappointed that that didn't happen. However, despite all of that, when I spoke to him last night, he said that he's still willing to engage with students. He's still willing to engage with student leaders because that's the only way that we can move forward.
Thank you very much, Shirona Patel.